So the question is how to move ourselves from the bottom of the side mount position to an escaped and safer position, right? If I'm on my back and John side mounts me, it means he lays chest to chest or sometimes hip to hip. Sometimes his arm may go underneath my head, and this hand may be on the other side, right here, and it keeps my knee from coming in between. Right? Sometimes the hand is on this side. Sometimes both hands are on this side. Right? Any of these positions are possible. Let's start from the most basic side mount. You're on your knees with your knees touching my rib cage. You have a nice wide base. Your chest is on my chest, and both your hands are on the same side. It means the forearms are on the ground, and the elbow is connected to my ear and my rib cage. He's got me sandwiched on both sides, so that if he pulls his elbows in, it keeps it tight enough that I'm having a hard time maybe moving here. And if his knees are close, it also makes it hard for you to move this way. So it's a nice sandwich, but I have to create a little space somehow. One way I can create space is to use a frame. The far side hand, right? If he's on, whatever side he's on is the near side, the close side or the far side. So my far side hand tries to go and touch his shoulder so that I can make a little bit of a frame under his neck. Camera should be here. All right, so we can see the frame under his neck. I try to touch his shoulder here and make a little frame under his neck because this can help me lever and control his head. I have to be careful here that he doesn't push my hand to the ground for an Americana or take my hand and push it down this way for a Kimura. Right? Just be aware that if he grabs your arm in any way, you're just going to keep yourself safe, right? However, you're just going to not let him move your arm too much, right? One way you can hide your arm is to go under him here. You can do that. And now your arm is relatively submission free. But it's nice if you use this lever underneath his chin. This arm has to try and create a wedge between our bodies on his hip. So I'm levering the head and levering the hip. If I stay on my back, it's very hard for me to put the wedge in. So I can straighten one leg rather, and then open my foot. Look, I walk my foot away a little bit, and then I just start to turn and shrimp to make enough space for my elbow to slide to the ground. Look. And now if he wants to aggress against me or maybe even grab my head, right, look, I can create a little distance just like this. I can create a little distance here. The elbow inside, camera come to this side please. Right, the elbow inside is achieved by straightening the close leg, walking the outside foot away, and then I start to turn my hips a little bit until I see some space here to drag my elbow to the ground. And I just hold him here and keep him away. Right, from this position, as long as both hands are on the same side, I can start to shrimp and then extend, and shrimp and extend. And look at the space that I make here between our bodies. It's just enough space for my knee to touch my elbow, right? Just like this. And now I can turn and face him until I close the guard. Right? Very rudimentary, basic walkout procedure. Let's go back to the side mount, please. So we start with the hands on the same side, and his knees are tight, and his elbows are tight, and I'm stuck. I can't get in here, right? If I feel that his arm is attacking, if I feel my arm is being attacked, right, I have to be very careful here. So the best thing to do to keep myself safe is maybe get my arm down and under his armpit. Look, I can go, camera, come on this side, please. I can go under the bottom armpit, right? Bottom means near my feet, top means near my head. So I can bump a little bit and make some space and go under here and protect myself. Or I can even go under here, like this, and protect myself, right? But it's nice once I feel safe if I can put a little leverage under the head. So if his head is down, I use my forearm here to get underneath, and I can brace my hand on the shoulder and create this frame. Just be aware that if he starts to move the arm, I may need to hide it here, or I may need to hide it here. Okay? The wedge against the hip, camera come on this side please. Right? The wedge against the hip is the second problem. If the knees are tight, it's hard for me to force the elbow in. So what I can do is lengthen my body on the same side and then walk my foot out, the far foot out, and then start to turn the hips down. And now look, there's a little space for the elbow to slide in. And once it slides in, I can shrimp away from him and use the frame and the wedge like a lever. Boom. And then I stretch my body and I frame and stretch until there's enough space for me to touch my knee and elbow together. And then I face him. Then I face him. Right? Now how do I extract this foot? I walk back a little bit and I start to turn. Maybe I have to go all the way this way like I do for the elbow escape. And so I can close the guard. All right, does this make sense? Let's try this and we'll move on to the next escape.